In this video, we are gonna create your badass alter ego. This is my favorite exercise to do with my coaching clients. Oh my god, this is so much fun. Get excited. I am so excited. In order for you to move to the next level in your life and really become this badass version of yourself and this like incredible, amazing version of yourself, you need to have a very clear idea of what does that person look like in many different ways and how do they act and all of these things. So that's why I am giving you very specific 5 things to consider about this next level version of yourself, the badass version of yourself, so that every single morning when you wake up, you have that clearly in your mind. You're like, this is who I want to be, and that's what I'm gonna go and do today. So let's dive into these 5 things that you should consider, and then you have this clear image of this person that you want to become. Number 1, what type of beliefs does this badass version of yourself have about themselves? How do they think about themselves? When you think about the things that you think about yourself right now compared to this badass confident version of yourself, what type of thoughts go through their mind? Write down these things. Right now, I really hope that you're either gonna take notes on your phone or even better on a piece of paper. Write this person down. Watch this and do this later. But really think about what type of beliefs does this badass version of yourself have? What do they think about themselves? And what type of story are they telling to themselves about themselves? Are they telling that I am a freaking successful woman, I can do, figure anything out, I can achieve whatever I want, I am confident, I am beautiful, I am, all of these different things, whatever that is for you. Think about the most freaking badass and confident version of yourself. What would that person think about themselves? Because all of this is possible for you. You just need to be specific about how you want to feel and what do you want to think about yourself. So that is number 1. Number 2 is, what type of habits does this version of yourself have? Because these beliefs are already kind of supported with the habits that this version of you has. So do they, wake up on time when they wake up, or do they snooze for an hour? Or what do they eat? Do they exercise? Because exercising might give them energy, or good food might give them energy. And do they, when they decide that they have a goal of doing certain thing today, this week, this month, this year, do they go for it? Do they do it? What type of habits does this version of you have? These can be tiny habits, daily habits, or yearly habits of they take massive leaps to the unknown because they have so much confidence in themselves and they start businesses and they do these big things. What is typical for them, what is automatic, because that is what a habit is. It's something that is automatic for you. You don't need to think about it. It's just part of who you are. So what are those habits that the badass version of you has? And right now, comment down below what is one habit that the badass version of you has. I would absolutely love to hear what it is. The third thing that you need to think about is, what type of values does this version of you have? This is something that this has been something life-changing for me when I figured out my core values. We never really stop and think about these things, but when you stop and think about, you can even Google core value exercise, or just a list of values, so you have a better idea of you don't need to necessarily just come up with something, or you can, if you have now some ideas, you can write those down. But think about what are the values, and probably these values are pretty similar to the ones that you have now, but there can also be some kind of upgraded values that this version of you has. And this can be, for me, my core value is freedom. It has been a big theme of this year, especially when I figured that out. I made a lot of big changes in my life, but the value could also be something of I don't take bullshit from people. I don't tolerate that, and that could be something that isn't really your value right now. You're maybe not really living based on that value right now, but you would like to live like that. And the confident version and the badass version of you would live based on that value. So what are those values? And then when you know the values, also and this is again like connected to the habits and just the way that you show up and the way that you are, because when you're living based on your, the reason why I want you to figure out your values is because then you can live your life based on your values. And when you're doing that, everything feels much more aligned. Like this year when I figured out my core values and I started taking action based on them, when I saw that in this area of my life I am not living based on my core value, which now this year has been freedom, as I said, and I took massive action and I changed things, and all of a sudden I'm like, this feels so freaking good, and this is how things are supposed to be. So when you're very clear on like what do you value, and then you can start evaluating different areas of your life and looking at like what do I need to change here and how can I live based on my values. So before we're gonna get into the last two things that you need to consider, I am so excited to let you know that I am offering for a limited period of time, not for that long anymore, a free coaching session with me. So you can book that down there in the description and in the comments. And what we do during this coaching session is that we're gonna create a personalized roadmap on how you can become the most badass version of yourself. And this is how you can, clarify your vision for your business. How can you be the most confident version of yourself with your business and doing these things and moving your business forward and moving towards the vision that you have and the goals that you have, and really starting to live the dream life of yours. So if that sounds interesting, if that sounds something that you're like, heck yeah, I want to do that, then head down there and book a call. I cannot wait to talk to you. Number 4, what you need to consider is what type of energy does this badass version of yourself have? And what I mean by this is like, when you see someone walking just like on the street or in the bus or just somewhere, and you just get this like, oh my god, they are so confident, I love their energy, and you get this like really good feeling from the person. That's what I want to think about. Like, how do you want people to feel when you're like walking down the street? What type of energy, what type of vibes do you want to like spread? And also when you're interacting with people, like how do you want people to feel around you? Because that also, obviously, all of us want to be liked. All of us want to, have great relationships and amazing people around us. So in order for us to really be the most badass version of ourselves, because we don't want to be alone. So you need to consider your energy. You need to consider what type of vibes you want to spread out. And because you also feel better when you're like giving out good vibes, right? You don't want to be like negative, like do all of these other things and be like, I have amazing beliefs, I have amazing whatever, but like I'm just spreading negative vibes. Like that doesn't work. So think about how do you want to make people feel around you, and also kind of how do you want to feel, because when you're feeling good, people around you will feel good. So think about your vibe. How do you want to feel? Okay, number 5, one of the most important things, because when we are growing, when we're becoming this new version of ourselves, the people that we have around us are extremely important. So the number 5 is people. What type of people do you want to have in your life when you're being this badass version of yourself? Or what type of people do you need to have? Because we all know that if we have a negative Nancy, isn't that like very American thing to say? I feel like I've only heard Americans use that thing. That's the first time ever I've used that. But these negative people in our lives, it's really, really hard to be positive. It's really, really hard to achieve anything if the people in our lives are just people who are like, I don't have goals, I don't want to do anything, I don't care about anything. It's really hard to care when, people around you don't care about their lives and their goals. So what type of people does this badass version of you have? You can think like their like attitudes, like how do they, you know, think, how do they act, what do they do. Also, you know, you can go very specific of like, these people are business owners, and not, oh, obviously not everyone has to be, but there are a lot of business owners in my life. There are a lot of creative people in my life. Whatever type of people you feel like will bring out the best out of you, think about that. And when you have like, now write it down, when you write these things down on paper, you will, because you have then a clear goal in your mind will start to notice these things, because it's like, okay, this is what we're working towards. And then all of a sudden you start to, you know, notice that these people will just start to show up in your life because you have set out this goal, and then you start to, like, without really noticing, start to take action towards finding these people. And then all of a sudden you have these people, but without having a clear goal of what type of people you want in your life, it's really hard to attract those people. I've attracted a lot of my friends by writing down, I want this type of friends, and then I just find them. I wanted like supportive, I wanted people who do similar things as I do, people who are very ambitious, people who have like similar goals, or like have this and this type of mindset. Like, I go very specific, and then I just find these people. So I really encourage you to do this, because it's very powerful. So that is the 5th tip, but I do have an extra tip for you guys, which is, I love this. You should think about, like, now you have this like idea of like, oh my god, this is the badass version of myself. You can also, okay, I have 2 extra now, I kind of like remembered the other one, but 2 things. So you know, what do they believe, what their habits are, what their values are, what their energy is, what the people they have around them. Also think about, how do they dress, you know, then you can have even more like a physical, like, clear image of that version of you. How do they dress? And also then choose a song that is like your badass version of yourself song. Like the song that you're gonna listen to when you're like, no, I really want to feel like this badass version of myself, but I just don't right now. But this is the song, this is the trigger that will make me feel like the badass version of myself. So I would love for you guys to comment down below what that song for you is. What is the song that makes you feel just like a badass, and you just feel good and confident, and you just want to dance, and you just feel good? Because I always want to hear more of, like, I just always want to find more songs to listen to it to feel like a badass. So I would love for you guys to share that down in the comments below. So that was all of the tips I had for you to create this amazing badass alter ego, amazing next level version of yourself. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please leave a like. I would just appreciate that so freaking much. Also, remember what I said, that I am now still offering for a while the free coaching session, so go and book that if that feels something that you feel ready to, that's something that you need. I would love to talk to you. And also, if you're not already subscribed, then go down there and press subscribe, because then you're not gonna miss out all of these amazing videos that are coming up. There's so many, oh my god, I have so much planned, so many amazing things planned. So subscribe, and thank you so much for watching, and I just wish you the most freaking amazing day. Bye guys.